the message I pretty much got for the collective earlier is the fact that when it comes to money, jobs, career, a lot of that is about to change for people. So it's like, if it's been unemployment, not being able to find a job, or wanting to change jobs, or wanting to work in a job that's more in alignment with your purpose or your calling, or starting a business, like a spiritual based business, or something that's just in alignment with your natural gifts, and there being any fears in reference to money, the message that I got earlier is that it's intricately related with a worth issue, and that resistance is going to be dropped this week, in the sense that it's almost like, how can I say it? Because I said it earlier, but my words aren't coming back to me. It's almost in the sense of being disappointed a lot and hoping that things are going to work in my favor, applying for a promotion repeatedly, applying for jobs, and just not getting them. So the resistance came in guarding oneself from disappointment. But because that block was put out or put up, it brought us out of flow, right? And bringing us out of flow brings us out of where, in essence, the pathway in which your blessings would come, because it's a protection from disappointment. So now it's more or less dropping that form of resistance, because not only did it keep out the bad, it also kept you out of the good as well. So it's not anything that's necessarily being done. I think the way that this would manifest is in response to something. So it's almost as if someone would ask you a question, and you would have a moment when that question is asked to respond in either guard and protection or in allowing, and without thinking about it. Well, I'm saying that figuratively, without thinking about it, but it's like the person's going to ask you and it's going to resonate in your heart space, and you're going to say yes. And in the moment that you say yes is when that resistance drops, because that's you making that energetic step in that direction to where, you know, it pretty much unfolds from there, if that makes sense. But yeah, so it's where the heart chakra comes in and is important is in the fact of tuning back into your heart space, because of course, like, that's where all of your answers lie. That's where our truth lies. That's where the truth of what we feel about things lies. But it's just kind of coming to that realization that we've kind of locked ourselves out of the proverbial house, in a sense. So if you think about like the five of Pentacles, and it's like, you know, being outside in the cold and things of the sort, it's coming to this realization that we have the key in our hand, and we're actually the ones that locked ourselves out of the church. So it's like you have the key, so it's like unlock the door and just go inside and get warm. You know what I mean? And our letting go card is communicating clearly. Today I will communicate clearly and directly in my conversations with others. I will strive to avoid manipulative, indirect, or guilt-producing statements. I can be tactful and gentle, or assertive if necessary. I do what is right in the moment. Wow. This is like the whole conversation we had before. Words have power, right? Another thing, this makes me think about another card in the Chakra Oracle deck, where a lot of times when we manipulate or we're manipulative, it's not out of malicious intent. It's because we're too afraid to ask for what we want, you know? So we'll kind of inadvertently coerce people into agreeing with us. So an example of that would be if you and all of your friends are going to go see a movie and there's a movie that you don't want to see, but you don't want to just be like, oh, I don't want to see that. Let's see this, right? So instead of saying, I don't want to see that, you'll say, oh, man, y'all don't want to go see that movie. Like a bunch of people I know went to go see that movie and they said it sucked. And it's like, oh, for real? And it's like, yeah, man, they said it was terrible. Horrible production and everything. It's like the whole storyline was pointless. And everybody's like, oh yeah, okay, let's not see that. And instead they're like, well, what do you think we should see? And you just so happen to suggest the movie that you would have rather saw, right? So that's not necessarily malicious intent, because, you know, it's not hurting anyone per se, but it's like, instead of having the courage to say, hey, you know, I want to see this, it's using, you know, slick side tactics to try to get, you know, what you want, you know? Yes, being afraid to hope. That's where that disappointment is lied in, is when hope hurts. It's like, I've hoped so many times that things will work out in my favor. I've trusted, I've believed, and each and every time I've been disappointed. So hope for the future becomes a trigger point, you know? It's like to assume that, or even if you listen to a reading and the reader says like, oh, you know, reconciliation, or, you know, there's somebody that's watching you, that loves you, and this person's been watching you for a while, and they're going to come forward, and you roll your eyes and you're like, that message ain't for me. You know what I mean? It's like almost putting yourself into a proverbial prison, you know? It's like a self-created Eight of Swords, you know, that we put ourselves in because of that disappointment. I'm taking a gander at you guys. Yeah. Because the thing that I've come to realize, guys, literally from this little epiphany today, is like you were saying, just say yes. It's like it's saying yes that gets you on that path. Because it's about, does this resonate with me? That's what it's really about. It's not really so much of what will people think. Is this a good idea? It's like, does it resonate with you? Like, does it make your soul scream with joy? If it does, if you're vibing with it, that's what you want, then do it. Because it's following your bliss that's going to get you to the path that you want to be on. It's not through logic, you know? And that's not to discredit planning. It's not to say that we shouldn't plan and we shouldn't have, you know, to-do lists or a framework and things of the sort. It's not to discredit that, but it's like, at the same time, in the present moment, it's like, respond to your bliss. It's like, only do those things that contribute to your greatest joy, you know? Because it's almost the thing to me, and this is really tying into the conversation that I had with my mods. It's we've become too accustomed to being in hermit mode. It's like when we find ourselves in a state of confusion or lost, instead of reaching out to other people, we're going within, you know? And it's like, if you think about it, it's like, if you confused and you going within, you know, and not saying this in a sense of meditative, like going within to connect with spirit, not that, but meaning like stuff in my life isn't making sense right now. So it's like, I'm going to isolate myself. I'm not going to talk to anybody. And that's more or less prepping you for rumination. Because the truth is, it's like, especially, you know, and I'm pretty sure everybody here, you know, because like in this group, but I mean, it's if you identify as healer, light worker, or anything, you know, any type of helping professional, that's funny, any type of helping professional or anything, it's just the fact of always stepping out or helping other people or feeling called to step out and help other people. But when we need help, we step away. And there has to be a shift in that, because every single person that falls into that whole collective group, it's like a lot of the times when we're feeling funky kind of energies, it's like we're all feeling that at the same time, but we're all pulling away from each other instead of coming to each other. And it's like, we would help each other so much coming together and saying like, yo, I'm dealing with this. And then you got like 20 other people that are like, oh my gosh, I'm dealing with that too. I thought it was just me. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry. I got y'all all emotional. Yeah, man, it's like it's become a core belief, you know? It's become a core belief that I can't be happy. And that's the thing that has to be confronted, because that we got to call it what it is. It's the fact that somewhere deep in the recesses of your mind and heart, it's like, yeah, you know, I see it when I'll believe it when I see it. But it's coming to that realization that you've already given up hope. And that's like what I mean by like the Five of Pentacles and being left out in the cold. It's like I locked myself out of the church. You know what I'm saying? Like I closed off my heart because I had been disappointed so many times. And this is the card that fell out. Release your ex. And this isn't, I feel this in a sense of, it's not talking about just releasing your ex, you know, like, oh, you know, like just let him go. Nah, this is the residue, the wounds, the scabs that are left. That's what's still being carried here. That's what has to be released. The time has come to clear your energy. It's like on the 15th, when I pulled those cards that shocked the life out of me, I was talking about that cycle ending. It's like that cycle ended, meaning those wounds stay back there. It's like you're in a clear energy now. Your past won't follow you into the present lest you choose for it to be that. You know, by choosing to approach every situation as if it was what it used to be. Now, again, disclaimer is the fact of boundaries. You know, you need to have boundaries. So it's not to say like, oh, let me just open up my heart to everybody. It's like, nah, it's about me responding to things in a way of, does this resonate with me? Yes. Like, hey, princess, you want to go get some ice cream? I want to go get ice cream. Yeah, I just started the gym, but I want ice cream right now. So I'm going to say yes. I'm going to respond to my bliss at that moment, you know? And it's like, it's coming from that place. It's not like, oh, what if I see somebody at the ice cream shop and, you know, they say, oh, princess just started the gym. What are they going to think? Or, you know, me being at the ice cream shop and thinking about that time 10 years ago when I ate ice cream and I got a really bad toothache and not wanting to eat the ice cream because I'm afraid that I might end up getting a toothache again, you know? So it's kind of like that same thing. It's not responding from your wounding, but responding from your authentic heart space, but needing to see the connection of how it is that we were responding from our wounding, because it's almost as if it's repositioned us to this space where I'm responding from a place of pain because I'm trying to dodge pain, but me trying to dodge pain has inadvertently created my prison. So it's needing to release the negativity, the burden, the baggage from any pains. And X could be anything. It's not even just romantic. It's X in the form of past experiences with jobs, with friends that stabbed you in the back, betrayed you, like whatever it is. It's taking the lesson, which is personal accountability, in the sense of seeing how, oh, hypothetically, my lack of boundaries is the reason why this person did X, Y, Z. So it's not to say all people are like this, or I don't want to have friends, or I don't want to let people close to me because this one person did that to me and I can't trust people. It's saying, no, I trusted that person before I allowed them to earn my trust. I didn't have any boundaries. So that's where I went wrong. But it's not to say that all people are like that. So if I maintain these boundaries, knowing that in the past I was wounded by not having them, that's my lesson. So I just take that and bring that into the present moment. So I have my boundaries, but it's not going to stop me from getting to know people or letting people in. Is that making sense? Oh, yeah, man. You can be a millionaire. Oh, yay. Princess, stay out of my life. I love y'all. That came from my my love deck that I made. I took all of my oracle cards about love. Is this, which one is this? This is my work one. Then after that, I'm going to pull some cards and plans. I mean, I'm already pulling cards, I mean, tarot cards. So does that feel about right, you guys? Yeah, we're totally about to blow up. Yeah, man. Open heart surgery. Because the thing is, like, the messages and stuff I was getting last night, it's like a self-sacrificial energy of denying yourself what you want. Denying yourself of what you want. And thank you, Spirit. And that's what comes in with that card with communicating clearly. Is denying yourself of what you want or not speaking up. And that being tied back to that issue of worth, of feeling like either I don't have the right to speak up, I don't have the platform or the position to speak up, I don't have, you know, it's like a false core belief. I don't have the right, or that's not possible, or people like me, or something along those lines. And that's intricately tied to past wounding. So it's getting rid of the scabs, dang at it. Well. Whoa. Past life issue. And that's if you believe in past lives or not. If it's not past life, it's like past life in this life. This situation has a basis in one of your previous lifetimes. Ask your angels to help you remember, release, learn, and heal from your past experiences. If you want to know what that is, look at your South Node. Look at your South Node. Is this the deck I just picked up? I can't remember. Look at your South Node. Because your South Node tells you what you were, or who you were, like not specifically who you were, like Jane Doe, blah, blah, blah. But it's like what your issue was in your past life, right? So your past life from your South Node lets you know what weakness it is you're supposed to overcome in this life. And your overall mission in this life is aligning with your North Node, right? So for example, for me, my South Node is in Libra, right? So in my past life, I always say that I was a weak ass bitch in my past life. Because my past life was marked by codependency and my worth and value being intricately aligned with partnerships and romance, and like my partner being my life and who I was and who I am and who am I without this person, which is the reason why I'm irritated by that in this life. And it's like, like there's so much more to an individual. My North Node is in Aries, right? So in my past life, in this life, meaning when I was younger, it's like a lot of my karmic lessons came through relationships because it was needing to break out of that codependency that was so second nature to me. Like it was second nature to me, so much so that as a little girl, when people asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I said a wife and a mom. Like not a doctor, not a firefighter. I want to be a wife and a mom. Like there was no other, desire in life, right? But it's like when you start to work that out, so you can start to see, like when I saw that, when I learned that, I started to see that pattern. I was like, holy crap. It's like codependency kept coming up. It was always relationships, right? And it almost felt wrong to me because I felt a yearning to align more with that Aries, but it felt like that was so wrong because it's like, I'm a lady and I'm supposed to be a wife. That's what ladies do, So definitely check that out. Definitely look at what your South Node is. And I promise you, you're going to start to see a lot of the lessons like, or patterns that you've seen in your life, that they will align with your South Node. And that's the reason why those lessons kept coming up, because that's what it is that needs to be overcome. Because that's going to give you a clear picture. Because especially, it's like, you know, with you guys being aware of the cycles and stuff in your life, like, I think it's going to hit you. Take action. This is in reference to your career life. So whatever it is that's been on your spirit, take action on it. So if it's been, you know, thinking about getting another job, applying for that promotion, if it's been anything, you know, take action on it. Like, now is the time. The energy is in support of where you are right now. So it's almost like, do I want to say spring cleaning? It's almost like, well, yeah, I guess you would say like spring cleaning, because that's another energy that's been up. It's a lot of people have been feeling this energy of like wanting to do a makeover or recreate yourself. You know what I mean? But that urge is coming from this new energy and this new stance that needs to be taken. So this is pretty much like that last inventory, that last roundabout, but it's looking back at this cycle, not just as this cycle, but looking back at my life, right? In a positive sense, to garner all the positivity that I can. And the way that you don't get lost in the sauce, doing that inventory is by putting your glasses on, and your glasses are looking at it through the lens of what your South Node is. So for me, because I know that my issue was codependency, if I'm doing this inventory, I'm looking back over this last cycle or over my whole life. And I say whole life if it's someone who, you know, just kind of started their spiritual journey and hasn't taken the time to kind of take stock of everything. But it's taking this stance to look back at this cycle and see how those themes were coming up, right? Seeing how those wounds have held me prisoner. It's tapping into my heart space and asking myself, what is it that I really want? What is it that I'm desiring, right? How is it that those wounds or those false core beliefs held me back for stepping into what it is that I want? And now it's making the decision to take action in the direction of that, knowing that you're supported by spirit, knowing that the energy is in alignment for it. But disclaimer, Mercury retrograde is coming up. I'm just saying. Just throwing that out there, you know? So when it comes to taking action on something you guys have already started, you have the time to execute those things. So if you got a book that's wrote and you just need to edit the last chapter, get on it. If you guys are thinking about a business model, start working on it. While Mercury's in retrograde, you can still continue to work on it, just don't launch it. You know what I'm saying? So this is more or less like action plan time, so to speak. Oh, interesting. It came out reverse. So the first card we have is Storm Warning in reverse. Then we have, wow, Magician in the Mirror. And then we have Envy in reverse. This is really good. So with Storm Warning in reverse, that means that the worst is over. So absolutely what I am hearing that song again. Why do I always hear that song? Dog days are over. And I think, what is that? Francis and the Machine or something of the sort. But this in so many words is saying that whatever it is that you guys have experienced or endured, and I'm saying this within like a week sense, right? Because we're looking at the 17th through the 24th. So more or less, whatever hardships you guys have faced from last week, because that was like from the 10th to the 17th. So from the 10th till today. So whether that was Valentine's Day or whatever, it's like if it's depressive feelings or discouragement or, you know, feeling like your back is against the wall, you're stuck, you know, whatever the case may be, the worst of that is over, right? So now you're transitioning into an energy of the Magician in the Mirror, which is saying that you have the power. It's like whatever it is that you want to manifest, you can manifest it. And it's being cognizant of this, being aware of this, believing this, trusting this. And like I said, doing that inventory, deciding what it is that you want, where it is that you're trying to go, and taking action on aligning yourself to that thing. So if it's a promotion, it's a job, it's going to look at my resume, you know, or going to a professional resume writer and getting them to fix my stuff. You know what I'm saying? If it's like, I need a change in my life, rearranging your room, you know, getting a haircut, dyeing your hair, whatever, you know what I mean? Switching up your wardrobe. Or, I mean, for me specifically, Spirit made me feel extra bad because it's my clothes. I have way too many clothes. And I was digging in one of my drawers and Spirit was like, look at this. It's like you're digging through all of this stuff to get the stuff that you actually do wear. So why are you holding on to this when you don't wear it? And I was like, okay, so maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. So it's like, you know, I'm a Taurus, man. I hoard, okay? So a lot of stuff that's like out of style, because I wear pretty much the same stuff over and over again. I'm not going to lie to you. And it's really basic stuff. But I have all of this other stuff I never touch, but I hold on to it because of the thought. And I feel like this is a message right there. I hold on to it because it's the thought that maybe either I can fit this again, this will come back in style again. What if I get rid of this and I find something to match it? But then it's like, realistically, like, how much use have you put into it? How long have you been saying that? And in my case, it's years, okay? I got stuff I've had for years. And the thing is clearing your space of things that are no longer serving you. And to reduce that down to clothing shows you how serious this can get. All the clothes I don't wear are no longer serving me because they're holding space, they're taking up energy, and they're making it more difficult for me to live my everyday life today because I'm holding on to something that's preventing me from getting to what it is that I need right now, which in most cases for me is pants. Can't find pants because I got a whole bunch of pants that I don't wear that are hiding the pants that I do wear. So get rid of the pants that I don't wear, you know? So it's knowing that you have that power and it's taking those tangible action steps towards that. So in so many words, this is self-reflection, right? It's making the connection with your astrological chart, right? To give that a framework to clarify that. It's tapping into your heart space of what it is you want to align with, and it's taking action in the direction of that. And it can be something as huge as a career change, starting a business, stepping into your calling. It can be something as minute as me cleaning out your closet, right? The next part that we have is envy in reverse. And the interesting thing that I love so much about this card is it's not really, you know, like evil person that's like, envy. It's more or less one of those things of how you keep yourself prisoner because it's envying your own future, right? So it's being in the position of saying, right now, my life sucks and it's horrible and nothing is working right and everything is stagnated. But I'm going to get into my hashtag 7 of Cups by daydreaming about one day somewhere out there in the future, things are going to be in alignment for me. One day I will meet someone that loves me one day out there somewhere. I'll have a job and I'll make lots of money and buy a house somewhere out there in the future. But in the present, you're doing absolutely nothing, right? So it's more or less seeing how it looks in the upright. Everything that's around her is gray. But looking out the window to the future, it's golden, right? But it's like stagnation presently can only beget more stagnation. Because what you're doing in this present second, in this present moment, is 9 times out of 10 the same energy that you will carry into the next moment. So if in the present, I'm not present because my mind is in the future, I will play this game with myself where I will keep daydreaming of that day and allow time to tick and fall away, dreaming, but never once doing what needs to be done, which is taking action in the direction. Daydreaming is wonderful to create a vision that you want to take action towards, but just like everything in our life needs to have balance, we don't want to get too wrapped up into doing too much action then we don't want to get too caught up in daydreaming too much, because it clouds your vision, and it inadvertently, it's almost like self-sabotage, because you're perpetuating the nothingness, you know, because it ends up becoming escapism as opposed to motivation, having something like tapping back into that vision of the future to give you motivation now to take action for the changes that you want to make. You know what I'm saying? But with this being in the reverse, is saying that you guys are coming out of that space. So as you no longer daydreaming about what you want your life to look like, or like, you know, the little funny challenge I did of the Be Who You're Looking For challenge. Instead of me daydreaming about, you know, spirit just orchestrating things and placing it on my front door, it's co-creating with spirit, which is this card. It's co-creating with spirit to get to that space, you know, taking the action steps to get to that space, and only getting to the space that's in alignment with my heart space. So it's taking what's in my heart space and manifesting that into 3D, right? That sound about right, peoples? Oh, yay. I love seeing y'all excited. You gonna stop talking about me? Oh, that's awesome. I love seeing y'all excited like this. It's so wonderful. So I'm gonna do my I don't know why I feel like I was gonna pull my I was gonna pull my cards, but I don't know. Oh, never mind. I guess I am gonna do that. This is a really weird spread I'm doing right now, but I guess I'm in the energy of winging it, so this is working. Because I was like, maybe I should just finish the spread with those, but I was like, but I wanted to use my after tarot, but this is working. So I'm gonna pull 2 more cards. I'm just gonna do a 9-card spread since I already inadvertently did that. Aha! One more card, Spirit. This is gangsta. Oh, this is gonna be a dope week. I can just tell you that right now. Whoa. I know you lie to me, Spirit. Y'all wanna know what these cards say? This is about to get real. Oh, thank you, Veronica. Look, this is pull them. Wow, how can you get over the fear of rejection and trying to be in the present? I'm going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to leave that right there. So the first card that we have is the 10 of Wands. Then we have the 5 of Wands. Behind that was the Ace of Cups. Those came out together. And then the last card that we have is the 4 of Wands. So, this is so wonderful. This wraps up everything, including the message that I got earlier. It's releasing the burdens that are tied to this. So it's not just releasing the actual ex, right? Or even it just being romantic. It's anything that has caused you disappointment or hurt in those wounds that you still carried. It's releasing that. It's finding reassurance and knowing that the worst is over. And it's releasing those burdens, right? Opening up and clearing that energy to make room for the new beginning, right? And this is like the same energy that we got last week. So this is more or less like last week, we were talking about like childhood stuff, right? Like past tense wounds. So this is almost like spirit bringing it closer. So it's been the reflection of like how my childhood affected me. And now it's more or less this week is about seeing how my childhood affected me to make my decisions as an adult and how the decisions I've made as an adult have affected me. So how they affected me, how I've affected me, right? So then we have the Five of Wands and the Ace of Cups. And this is that ceasefire. That's what I call this card in this deck. It's my ceasefire card. Because in the original Rider-Waite, they're fighting. But now Home stood up in his power and everybody else set the hell down, right? So the thing is that the chaos stops when you stand in your power. The only reason why the chaos was ever there is because you were stepping down to a frequency or a way of being that was not in alignment with you. And it's almost like everyone had to play along, you know? Everyone had to play along because you are the creator. It's like you are the author as well as the heir of your destiny, right? So it's like you needed them to be actors in your play. You needed them to be in the chaos with you, right? But the moment that you snapped out of it and stood in your truth, in your light, right, in your power, now it's like, oh, well, you're ready, so we ready. What you doing? Where we going, right? Clearing out that energy allows this opportunity to come in. It's like, so this is manifestation power. This is me coming to the awareness of who I am and what I want, what's in alignment with my heart space. When I take that stance, I draw it in and it manifests, right? But I do feel like this offer that's coming in is going to be different than the one that was received last week. For those of you who haven't received it, it's going to be one and the same. But for those of you who felt like, oh, I got this good thing, nothing else good is coming, it's like this is still going to be something different that's going to come in. I just feel like this isn't necessarily romantic. It could be, but I don't really feel it as romantic. I feel this is going to be something that's going, an offer that's going to be made to you that's going to, and this is going to sound really corny, but set your soul on fire. Like it's going to be a heart's desire, like a job offer that would be in alignment with what it is you really want to do. Like saying, man, I wish I could find a job that helps the homeless, you know, because I just love homeless people. And looking at your email and seeing that, you know, there's an offer that's been made to you for a position at this new mission that's been opened up in your town, like something like that, right? But that all manifesting because of you releasing burdens, standing in your power, stopping that resistance, that fight with yourself, right? So that you can get what it is that you're really desiring. And then to me, with this Four of Wands, it's that manifestation of your harmonious inner state. It's you standing in full power because it's me recognizing who I am and what I want and saying that that's good enough. It's me taking a step in that direction of what I want and creating a new life for myself because I'm no longer standing on a shaky foundation, right? I'm not standing on that shaky sand that's, you know, moving to and fro. It's me taking a stance on who I am, what I want, what I deserve, taking an action in the direction of that and starting to build my foundation for my new life. So it's a very tangible way of recreating oneself that runs deeper than just cleaning out your closet or starting the gym or cutting your hair or dyeing your hair. It's something that runs so much deeper. It's saying that this is my new standard for living, right? It doesn't have to be perfected. It's just laying that cornerstone and knowing that that's what it is that you're walking towards. So it's more or less this cycle has ended. And if we say specifically like Friday, this cycle ended. From Friday all the way until today, which is Sunday, you've been in the liaison phase. So you've been like in proverbial purgatory, right? And it's like stepping into this week, you're entering the pearly gates, right? Does that make sense? That's the reason, y'all.
Energy, about to get in and fuck up the industry.